conspiracy people who think that people are giving signals. You just get off the stupid internet and stop with it.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But tonight, one short clip has the internet asking 1,000 questions. Because while Erika Kirk is out here calling Mikey McCoy amazing in front of the world, viewers keep replaying a different moment. That viral footage where a man believed to be Mikey appears to calmly walk away with a phone already at his ear, right as everything goes wrong around Charlie Kirk. And now, people online are wondering, what exactly happened in those few silent seconds? To be clear, we're not saying anyone is guilty of anything. We're not accusing, we're analyzing. This video is commentary, based on public reactions, clips, and reports that have people talking non-stop. But the contrast is hard to ignore. On one side, glowing praise and emotional tributes. On the other, a timeline that many fans feel just doesn't sit right. Why was Mikey being described as a hero, while some viewers insist the footage tells a different story? Why are so many details coming out in pieces, with new versions of events popping up weeks later? Tonight, we're breaking down what people are noticing, what they're questioning, and why this amazing label has turned into a full-blown online storm. Interview 306/337. The moment the clip resurfaced online, people felt something shift in the entire conversation surrounding the incident. Up until then, most viewers had been relying on emotional statements, shaky recollections, and scattered updates from those who were close to the situation. But once that short video spread again, especially alongside Erika's emotional praise for Mikey, the public suddenly had something visual to compare with the words being spoken. And that comparison was enough to send the online crowd into a whirlwind of questions, doubts, and theories that nobody had been expecting. In the footage, the atmosphere feels heavy in a way that's hard to describe. There are no loud sounds, no obvious chaos, just a strange stillness before everything unravels. And then there's the detail that viewers keep honing in on. The moment the man believed to be Mikey slowly steps back with a phone already against his...
Don't you dare get in the way.
The Turning Point USA Wikipedia received a rather interesting update. Pastor Rob McCoy somehow got his own heading.
They want to cut a deal with you, and they want to see if you want to do a plea bargain before we get to a pre-trial.
Watching the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, "Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray." It's okay, son. He has wits about him. He's just directing.
Ear. No frantic gestures, no hesitation, no instinct to help. His steps are calm, almost measured. For some people watching it, the calmness is what unsettles them most, because it doesn't match the emotional stories that were shared afterward. The clip doesn't accuse anyone of anything, but it introduces a kind of tension that makes people look at every other detail with new eyes. This tension grew even stronger when Erika's speech surfaced again. In it, she repeatedly refers to Mikey as amazing, describing him with the kind of warmth and sincerity that can only come from someone in deep grief. Her voice trembles, her expressions soften, and she talks as if Mikey was a pillar of strength in a moment when the world was falling apart. And in fairness, her feelings are her own, and her gratitude is clearly coming from a heavy emotional place. But when viewers placed that speech side by side with the clip, they started asking questions not about guilt, but about consistency. Why is there such a sharp contrast between the glowing descriptions and the calm, detached reaction in the footage? Why did every public statement around Mikey seem so carefully framed, so polished, so focused on presenting him in the best possible light? People aren't suspicious because they want drama. They're suspicious because the pieces feel like they come from different puzzles. As the conversation spread, people began revisiting older statements to see how they aligned with the timeline. Some remembered hearing one version where a certain call was made immediately, while others recalled a slightly different version from someone else. These stories weren't accusations, just different retellings of the same moment by people who were all close to the situation. Normally, slight differences are common in emotional events, but when a video exists that doesn't quite match any of those descriptions, every small detail starts to feel heavier. Fans online began pointing out that they weren't trying to blame anyone or push any harmful claims. Their issue was simple. They wanted clarity. They wanted to understand why the clip shows one emotional tone while the statements describe another. They wanted to know why Erika seemed so certain about Mikey's reaction even though the public footage didn't show anything resembling panic or urgency. The conversation wasn't about assigning motives. It was about trying to reconcile two very different pictures of the same moment. As more people joined in, the emotional stakes became clearer. Some supporters defended Erika immediately, saying grief can make moments blur and people under shock remember things differently. Others felt protective of Mikey, saying the clip only shows a single angle and doesn't reveal the full scene. Still, others argued that the inconsistencies shouldn't be ignored simply because the situation is sensitive. The comment sections became a mix of frustration, sympathy, confusion, and judgment, all swirling together like a storm nobody expected. Then came the moment that intensified everything even further. An old interview resurfacing where a close associate described Mikey as calm, focused, and decisive. Another described him as shaken and overwhelmed. Two separate accounts from two separate mouths. Again, nothing illegal or dangerous, just conflicting emotional descriptions. People online began asking whether the truth was somewhere in the middle, or if the retellings were influenced by the pressure of public scrutiny. And this is where the real drama began. Not in the footage, not in the praise, but in the space between them. On social media, viewers started compiling comparisons, placing quotes next to screenshots, building long threads that tried to map out the timeline second by second. Some called it overanalyzing. Others said it was necessary because the explanations felt too rehearsed, too ready, as if they had been repeated so many times that nobody stopped to question whether they matched the visual evidence. And with each new discussion, the divide widened. Inside the families and circles surrounding the situation, emotions reportedly ran even higher. There were whispers that some relatives felt uncomfortable with how publicly certain details were being discussed, while others believed transparency was the only way to calm the chaos. One acquaintance allegedly told someone online that it all got too big too fast and that people were reacting before anyone had time to breathe. Another person close to the circle simply said, "Everyone is overwhelmed. which fans interpreted in all sorts of different ways. But even in the middle of all this emotional noise, one question kept coming back in every discussion. Why did Erika choose to highlight Mikey so passionately at such a delicate moment? Was she expressing sincere gratitude for something the public wasn't aware of? Was she trying to defend him from the growing online scrutiny? Or did she genuinely believe the version of events she described, regardless of what the footage looked like? People debated these questions for hours at a time, and the debates never led to a clear conclusion. What they did lead to was a deeper curiosity about everything surrounding that day. They wanted to understand who called who, when the call began, why certain reactions looked so controlled, and why the people closest to the situation kept offering slightly different stories that never quite aligned in a straight line. Some fans even said the whole situation felt like watching two movies playing at the same time, but with mismatched soundtracks. The visuals said one thing, the words said another, and viewers were left trying to sync the two into something that made sense. The more they tried, the more they felt like the real story was buried under layers of emotion, instinct, shock, and confusion. As the clip continued circulating, a new wave of reactions poured in from people who hadn't seen it before. Some said they were stunned. Others said they were heartbroken. A few said they were simply puzzled because they didn't understand why a moment that should have been filled with panic looked strangely calm on camera. And then there were those who believed the calmness was exactly why Erika felt the need to highlight Mikey so intensely later on. Maybe, they suggested, it was an attempt to frame the moment in the light she believed it deserved. With every hour, the conversations grew louder, not because people were angry, but because they felt something in the story was still unfinished. Every retelling felt like a new layer. Every reaction felt like a new clue. And every comparison between the speech and the footage reopened the same lingering question that nobody had been able to answer. As more people chimed in, as more voices began joining the discussion, each bringing their own interpretation, their own confusion, and their own emotional stake in the evolving mystery. As more people chimed in, the discussion began stretching far beyond the original clip, touching on small details that most viewers hadn't even noticed at first. One commenter pointed out how the man in the clip, believed to be Mikey, didn't appear startled when the moment shifted from calm to chaos. Another mentioned how his posture stayed steady, almost too steady for a situation unfolding that suddenly. And once those observations started spreading, viewers became even more determined to understand what they were actually seeing. The strange part was that nobody was accusing anyone of wrongdoing. The confusion didn't come from malice, it came from mismatch. The descriptions from those close to the moment were filled with emotion, urgency, and fear, yet the video looked like someone simply stepping aside. It created a contrast that viewers couldn't look away from, and once the curiosity took over, even the smallest detail felt like it carried weight. There were people who tried to defend the calmness, saying that everyone reacts differently to shock. Some individuals freeze, others panic, and some become quiet and focused. But in this case, the quietness from the clip felt different because of how passionately Erika described Mikey later on. She used words that painted him as deeply affected, overwhelmed, and emotionally shattered. When people compared that description to the controlled walk captured on camera, they felt an emotional gap that was hard to bridge. What made it more dramatic was that certain individuals who were present later gave slightly differing memories of what happened. One person remembered seeing Mikey dialing his phone frantically. Another insisted he had his phone to his ear before anything had unfolded. These variations weren't huge on their own, but when placed next to the footage, they created ripples that spread fast through online conversations. People began zooming into the clip, analyzing the angle of his arm, the timing of each step, even the way he held the phone against his ear. They debated whether it looked like a call already in progress or the beginning of one. Some viewers speculated that he might have been on the line before noticing anything was wrong, while others argued that his timing was too coincidental to ignore. And every time someone shared a new theory, dozens more joined in to offer their own interpretations. The emotional side of the story also played a huge role in the public's fascination. Erika's speech wasn't just heartfelt, it was almost poetic in the way she emphasized her gratitude. She spoke with a trembling voice, her words carrying the weight of loss, confusion, and exhaustion. Her praise for Mikey was wrapped in an emotion that made people feel her sincerity, even if they didn't fully understand the context behind it. The intensity of her voice made the contrast with the video even sharper. Some viewers felt sympathy, saying she was simply expressing raw emotion in a moment of unimaginable pain. Others wondered if her praise was influenced by a need to shield someone she trusted deeply, especially with the growing online conversations surrounding the incident. And a few people suggested she might have remembered the moment differently because of the shock that followed. Whatever the reason, the gap between her descriptions and the visual evidence kept growing in people's minds, and the more they compared, the more questions they found themselves asking. In private circles, according to some online claims, even those who were close to the family felt overwhelmed by how quickly everything spiraled. People who knew the individuals involved said emotions were running high behind closed doors. Some reportedly believed the public didn't understand the full context. Others felt uncomfortable with how certain details were being interpreted or repeated online. A few friends, someone claimed, even stopped responding to messages from curious acquaintances, not wanting to get pulled into the storm of speculation. Meanwhile, online communities continued dissecting every line from every speech connected to the moment. One clip of a close associate describing Mikey as shaken and terrified circulated widely, while another clip of a different person describing him as focused and steady gained just as much attention. Viewers struggled to understand how the same moment could produce descriptions that were so emotionally opposite. Again, nothing illegal, nothing harmful, just two separate stories that didn't sit neatly together. This emotional inconsistency became a kind of magnet for viewers who loved drama, mystery, and unanswered questions. Comment sections turned into long threads where people traded thoughts, feelings, and interpretations for hours. Some individuals said they didn't care about any of the contradictions and simply wished peace and healing for everyone involved. Others said the inconsistencies made them feel uneasy, especially because every new conversation seemed to add another layer rather than clarify anything. Then came a different angle altogether, one that caught people by surprise. A small group of online users started discussing Erika's body language during her speech. They noticed how her eyes shifted when she mentioned Mikey, how her hands tightened around the podium, and how her voice cracked in a way that didn't resemble the parts of her speech where she talked about her husband. To them, it looked like she was holding back something personal, something complicated, something tied to more than just grief. While some viewers dismissed that interpretation as overanalysis, others felt it opened a deeper emotional window into her mindset. Maybe, they suggested, her praise wasn't just admiration. Maybe it was
fear, or relief, or guilt, or confusion, or a combination of all those things. Maybe she was expressing gratitude for something the public didn't yet know. Or maybe the moment was simply too overwhelming for her to speak with perfect clarity. Whatever the case, the speculation grew so quickly that it created a whole new wave of theories. As discussions intensified, one online group pointed out something that stirred fresh debate. They noticed that in multiple speeches from different individuals, Mikey's name came up far more often than expected. He wasn't just being mentioned, he was being highlighted, repeated, and praised in a way that felt unusual considering the gravity of the moment. Some felt it was innocent appreciation. Others interpreted it as an attempt to control the narrative, possibly to protect someone who might face scrutiny. And then there was the moment where fans began re-watching an older message in which a close family friend described Mikey as the person who stayed. The most composed during chaotic moments. That line reignited the curiosity because it felt eerily similar to what people noticed in the recent footage. The calmness, the steady walk, the quietness. It matched the description perfectly. Yet the emotional accounts from those closest to the tragedy painted a very different picture of him that day. Viewers did not blame anyone for the emotional inconsistencies. They understood that grief, shock, and trauma can make memories blur. But they couldn't shake the feeling that the story had become tangled in a strange web of different perspectives and emotionally charged retellings. And when the clips of Mikey being praised as the heart and hero of the moment resurfaced, the questions only grew louder. Some wondered why the focus had shifted toward his reaction instead of the actual tragedy at hand. Was it simply because he happened to be visible in the clip? Or was he a central figure for reasons the public didn't yet understand? Others believed the attention grew because the footage didn't match the glowing praise he received, creating a natural human instinct to question and compare. And then there were those who insisted the praise had been planned, rehearsed, or encouraged by someone behind the scenes. The moment these theories took off, the conversation online became even more layered. Supporters defended Erika fiercely, reminding everyone that people grieve differently and have every right to express gratitude however they choose. Critics, on the other hand, kept circling back to the same point. The timeline didn't flow smoothly, the descriptions didn't align cleanly, and the video didn't match the emotional tone. Through all this noise, one thing remained constant. The public sensed that something about the story still felt incomplete. The more people watched the clip, the more they re-examined the speeches, and the more they read the differing accounts, the more they felt like something in the narrative was slipping through the cracks. It didn't feel like a conspiracy. It felt like a puzzle missing a few essential pieces. And that feeling lingered as the conversation kept evolving, turning what could have been a small moment into a massive online debate fueled by emotions, contradictions, and unanswered questions. As the discussions deepened, people began revisiting the moment from different emotional angles, hoping that a fresh perspective might make the inconsistencies feel less sharp. But instead of clearing anything up, each new angle seemed to create an entire set of fresh questions. One viewer wrote that the situation felt like watching a conversation where everyone was trying to talk at the same time while telling slightly different versions of the same story. Another said that the more they tried to connect the details, the more tangled everything felt, like a knot that kept tightening each time someone tried to pull it loose. Many people wondered if the emotional weight of the situation, tragedy had shaped the memories of those involved, especially Erika. They pointed out how she had been dealing with overwhelming grief and responsibility, and that her version of events might have blended with the immediate shock of the aftermath. But others pushed back, saying that certain details, especially the timing of the phone call and the calmness in the clip, were too specific to be brushed off as emotional confusion. And the more this back and forth played out, the more the atmosphere online began to feel like a mix of concern, curiosity, and quiet frustration. Then came a new wave of reactions when someone compiled the speeches, statements, and interviews surrounding the incident into one long thread. As people went through it, they noticed how often the descriptions of Mikey shifted in tone. In one retelling, he was described as pale, trembling, and barely able to speak. In another, he was described as collected, focused, and giving directions to others. One person said as viewers shared their interpretations, wandering without understanding what had happened. Another claimed he stayed strong and grounded. These weren't contradictions rooted in blame, just reflections of how differently people remembered a high-stress moment. But the variations added yet another layer of confusion to an already complicated situation. As viewers shared their interpretations, one detail kept returning like an echo: the timing of Erika's praise. Why had she chosen that particular moment to speak so passionately about Mikey? Was she trying to reassure the public? Was she trying to reassure herself? Or did she believe the narrative she was sharing so deeply that the contrast with the footage never even crossed her mind? Nobody could answer it definitively, but the question refused to go away. Another thing that pulled people deeper into the drama was the emotional way Erika delivered her words. She didn't simply mention Mikey, she seemed to wrap her entire heart around his name, speaking as if he had been a crucial source of comfort in the middle of chaos. Some said maybe she genuinely believed he had helped more than the footage revealed. Others thought she might have been expressing gratitude for something unrelated to the clip. And a few felt she was trying to shape the public perception at a moment when everything felt unstable. Either way, her praise created a contrast that viewers couldn't shake off. The emotional stakes inside the circle surrounding the incident also appeared to grow as people began sharing indirect comments online. Someone claimed that friends close to Erika were urging her to stay offline because the pressure had become overwhelming. Another claimed that people close to Mikey felt uncomfortable with how his name dominated every conversation. These claims couldn't be confirmed, but they fed into the emotional turbulence that already existed around the story. As the speculation continued, some people shifted their focus to the small behavioral cues in the... They slowed it down, paused it frame by frame, trying to determine whether the calmness on Mikey's face was genuine composure or the result of shock. They noticed how his eyes didn't widen, how his shoulders didn't tense, and how he seemed to move as if he already knew what direction he needed to go. This observation led to a new wave of theories about instinct, training, or emotional detachment. Yet even these theories didn't explain why the spoken versions of the moment were so emotionally intense compared to the silent calm of the footage. The conversations grew even more complicated when people brought up older images and memories connected to the group. Fans remembered previous moments where Mikey was described as soft-spoken, loyal, and deeply protective of those around him. Those descriptions matched the emotional tone of the speeches, but didn't match the body language in the clip. Some viewers wondered if the video simply captured a moment where he was shutting down. Every time people thought they understood something internally before reacting outwardly, and some insisted that the footage wasn't enough to judge anything at all. Even then, the most gripping part of the drama wasn't the clip itself, but the way it kept reshaping the story. Every time people thought they understood something, a new detail surfaced that made them question what they believed just minutes earlier. At one point, an online user pointed out how certain interviews seemed to emphasize Mikey repeatedly, almost as if someone wanted to redirect attention toward him. That observation spread quickly, and people began noticing little moments in speeches where his name was inserted with extra emotion. Then another layer appeared when viewers began comparing the tone used to describe Mikey with the tone used to describe others who were present. Some noticed that other individuals were mentioned quickly, almost as if they were side characters in the retellings, even though they had faced the same chaotic moment. In contrast, Mikey's name appeared with warmth, detail, repetition, and almost poetic praise. This made viewers feel like he had been placed at the center of a story that didn't originally revolve around him. Some felt this was unintentional. Others thought it looked like an attempt to focus the narrative. A particularly emotional comment that went viral came from someone who wrote that the entire story felt like trying to understand a conversation through a foggy window. They could hear pieces, see outlines, and feel the tension, but nothing ever came into clear focus. That comment resonated with thousands because it captured exactly how the public felt. Close to the truth, but always missing one or two key details that could make everything fall into place. One user wrote that the video felt like a chapter where the main character looked nothing like the way the author described him. That line stuck with people because it highlighted the emotional gap.